This content is for informational purposes only and does not replace professional medical advice. Always consult a qualified healthcare provider for personal health concerns. We are talking about fiber, the quiet, structural backbone of your internal biology that most of us are failing to consume in adequate amounts. While the modern diet has shifted toward hyper-processed convenience, our bodies are still fundamentally designed to process complex plant structures. When we neglect this, we aren't just missing out on a nutrient, we are essentially starving the complex ecosystem that lives within us. For decades, fiber was relegated to the sidelines, often dismissed as mere roughage or a simple tool for regularity. However, contemporary science has completely rewritten that narrative. Evidence now shows that fiber is not just a passive filler, it is an active, metabolic powerhouse that influences everything from your immune response to your mood stability and cardiovascular health. When we look at the data, the discrepancy between what we need and what we actually eat is staggering. Most adults consume less than half of the recommended daily intake. This isn't just a minor dietary oversight, it is a systemic imbalance that contributes to the rising rates of chronic health challenges we see today. You might be wondering why something so foundational has been pushed to the background of nutritional conversations. The answer lies in the complexity of how fiber interacts with our systems. It is not as simple as a single vitamin or a quick-fix pill. It requires a deeper look at the chemistry of our food and the architecture of our gut. Now that we have established why this often ignored element deserves your full attention, let's begin by examining exactly what happens inside your body the moment you take your first bite of fiber-rich food. To understand the mechanics of this process, we must first define what fiber actually is. Unlike fats, proteins, or simple sugars that are broken down and utilized for fuel, fiber remains largely intact as it traverses the length of your gastrointestinal tract. Think of it less as a nutrient meant for cellular energy and more as a biological architect, shaping the environment of your internal ecosystem. While both are essential, they behave quite differently once they enter your system. When it encounters water during the digestive process, it transforms into a soft, gel-like substance. This viscous consistency is significant because it acts as a gentle buffer, slowing down the speed at which food leaves your stomach. You can find this type of fiber in abundance within foods like oats, apples, citrus fruits, and legumes. On the other side of the spectrum, we have insoluble fiber, which functions quite differently. Instead, it maintains its structural integrity from the moment you swallow until it reaches the end of your colon. By speeding up the transit time of food and waste, insoluble fiber helps maintain regularity and keeps your digestive passage moving efficiently. Common sources include whole grains, wheat bran, nuts, seeds, and the skins of various vegetables. This synergy is what makes a diverse diet so effective. You are rarely consuming just one or the other, but rather a complex mixture that supports different aspects of gut function simultaneously. Research suggests that by maintaining this balance, you are providing your digestive tract with both the mechanical movement it needs to stay clear and the chemical buffering required to stabilize metabolic processes. Beyond the physical act of moving food through your system, these fibers are doing something invisible yet monumental for your internal health. Understanding how fiber serves as the primary fuel source for this hidden population is key to unlocking the true potential of your gut health, and that is exactly where we are heading next. But before we dive into how your microbiome utilizes that fuel, we have to address a glaring reality. Most of us are running on empty. If fiber is the essential foundation for a thriving gut, the modern plate is currently built on sand. The culprit is hiding in plain sight. Walk through any standard grocery store, and you are surrounded by an abundance of ultra-processed foods designed for convenience, shelf stability, and hyperpalatability. When food is refined, when grains are milled into fine white flour or juices are extracted from whole fruits, the structural integrity of the plant is lost. What remains is a product that our bodies digest far too quickly, leaving our internal ecosystems starving for the roughage they need to maintain balance. While health organizations typically suggest between 25 and 35 grams of fiber per day, the average intake often hovers at less than half that amount. This isn't just a minor dietary oversight, it is a systemic disconnect from our evolutionary biology. Today, we have traded that diversity for a narrow, repetitive cycle of processed sugars and refined fats. This deficiency doesn't just make us feel sluggish or bloated, it fundamentally alters the landscape of our health. It is akin to a forest losing its keystone species. The entire ecosystem becomes less resilient, more susceptible to stress, and significantly less efficient at managing the tasks we rely on it to perform. You might feel that your current habits are fine, because you don't experience immediate discomfort, but the long-term consequences of this gap are often silent. We are essentially asking our bodies to navigate complex physiological processes without the necessary tools, and the results are showing up in our energy levels, our moods, and our long-term wellness metrics. Acknowledging this gap is the first step toward correcting it, but simply knowing the numbers isn't enough to change the habit. Now that we have identified why our modern diets are falling so short, it is time to look at the practical, science-backed ways to reintroduce these vital elements back into your routine, starting with the specific types of fibers that do the heaviest lifting. Before we get into the mechanics of increasing your intake, we need to address the silent distress signals your body sends when it is starved of this essential nutrient. When fiber is chronically missing from your meals, your gut doesn't just go quiet, it begins to struggle in ways that impact your daily energy and long-term well-being. If you find yourself frequently dealing with constipation or irregular bowel movements, it is often a sign that your system lacks the bulk necessary to keep things moving efficiently. Research suggests that fiber acts as a natural broom for the digestive system, and without it, waste transit time slows down significantly, leading to discomfort and a sense of heaviness that can linger for days. Beyond the physical sensations in your gut, there is a direct link between low fiber and your metabolic stability. Studies indicate that when you consume refined carbohydrates without the buffering effect of fiber, your glucose levels spike rapidly, and then plummet just as fast. This roller coaster effect leaves you feeling tired, irritable, and mentally foggy. Fiber serves as a metabolic anchor, slowing down the absorption of sugar and preventing those sharp surges that wreak havoc on your insulin response. Then, there is the persistent, nagging hunger that seems to follow you throughout the day. Many people mistake this for a lack of willpower, but it is often a physiological response to a fiber-deficient diet. Because high-fiber foods take longer to chew and digest, they naturally trigger satiety signals in your brain, telling you that you are nourished and satisfied. This creates a cycle where you feel perpetually unsatisfied, making it difficult to maintain a healthy weight or a balanced relationship with food. These symptoms are not just minor inconveniences, they are your body's way of asking for a different fuel source. By paying attention to these cues, the sluggishness, the energy dips, and the constant cravings, you gain a clearer map of what your internal environment requires to thrive. Now that we have identified the cost of ignoring your gut's needs, we can move forward into the actionable strategies that will help you restore balance and finally give your digestive system the support it has been asking for. Moving from understanding the problem to implementing a solution is where the real transformation begins. You might feel tempted to overhaul your entire pantry overnight, but when it comes to fiber, a measured pace is your greatest ally. Start by adding one extra serving of whole foods to your daily routine, perhaps swapping your refined afternoon snack for a handful of almonds or a crisp apple. Give your digestive system roughly a week to adapt to these new arrivals before increasing your intake further. As you ramp up your fiber consumption, you must prioritize your hydration levels. Think of fiber as a sponge. It requires adequate water to move smoothly through your intestinal tract. Without sufficient fluids, fiber can actually have the opposite effect, creating a blockage rather than facilitating regularity. You will know you are on the right track when you feel lighter and notice a more consistent rhythm to your digestion. When selecting your fuel, focus on high-density sources that offer the most nutritional bang for your buck. Legumes, such as lentils, chickpeas, and black beans, are absolute powerhouses, often providing a significant percentage of your daily requirement in a single cup. Don't overlook the skin of your produce either. Many fruits like pears and apples, as well as vegetables like potatoes and carrots, hold a substantial portion of their fiber content right in their exterior layer. Simply scrubbing these well and eating them unpeeled is one of the easiest ways to bolster your nutritional profile without needing to cook elaborate meals. Research suggests that diversifying your plant sources, aiming for a wide spectrum of colors and textures, provides a broader range of prebiotic fibers, which feed the beneficial bacteria residing in your colon. If cooking feels daunting, consider keeping canned beans rinsed and ready, or frozen berries on hand for a quick boost to your morning yogurt. These minor adjustments aggregate over time, turning fiber intake from a chore into an effortless habit. Now that we have established how to sustainably integrate these nutrients, we can look at how to maintain these habits even when life gets hectic and your schedule feels overwhelming. Maintaining these habits during chaotic weeks is far easier when you understand the profound internal chemistry you are supporting. Beyond simple digestion, your fiber intake acts as a primary fuel source for your microbiome, triggering a cascade of biological benefits that extend all the way to your brain. When beneficial gut bacteria ferment the fiber you consume, they produce short-chain fatty acids, specifically butyrate. These compounds are essentially the messengers of your gut health, traveling through your bloodstream to influence systemic inflammation, stabilize blood sugar, and even support the integrity of your intestinal lining. Recent breakthroughs in neuroscience have illuminated the gut-brain axis, revealing that your internal ecosystem is in constant, sophisticated dialogue with your nervous system. By feeding your microbiome, you are essentially providing the raw materials required for the production of neurotransmitters that regulate mood and cognitive clarity. This is no longer just about avoiding discomfort, it is about optimizing the very foundation of your mental and physical resilience. You are effectively engineering a more robust version of yourself from the inside out. As we conclude, let's synthesize what we have covered. Fiber is not merely a dietary additive, it is the cornerstone of metabolic longevity. It regulates your glucose levels, fosters a diverse and protective bacterial colony, and minimizes the systemic inflammation that often underlies chronic health challenges. By prioritizing whole, plant-based foods, you are investing in a future where your body operates with greater ease and stability. The cumulative effect of these choices is a stronger immune response, sustained energy levels, and a more balanced internal environment that can withstand the pressures of a busy life. This content is for informational purposes only. If you found this information helpful, consider subscribing to stay updated on future discussions regarding the science of human health and wellness.